going on live now. Brother, please wait. Please wait, brother. Keshav, brother, please wait. Brother, it's still preparing to live stream. Please wait. Just a minute.
गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृणुतिभिः सीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् ॐ शान्ति 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 ॐ गणपतये नमः गणपतान्तिकाय नमः ऊर्ध्वय नमः हिरण्याय नमः हिरण्यलिङ्गाय नमः नमः लिंगाय नमः दिव्याय नमः दिव्यलिंगाय नमः भवाय नमः भवलिंगाय नमः शर्वाय नमः शर्वलिंगाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवलिंगाय नमः ज्वलाय नमः आत्माय नमः आत्मलिंगाय नमः आत्माय नमः आत्मलिंगाय नमः एतत् सोमस्य सूर्यस्य सर्वलिंगं स्थापयति पाणिमन्त्रं पवित्रम् सद्यो जातं प्रपद्यामि सद्यो जाताय वै नमो नमः भवे भवेनाति भवे भवस्व मां भवाय नमः वामदेवाय नमो ज्येष्ठाय नमः श्रेष्ठाय नमो रुद्राय नमः कालाय नमः कलविकर्णाय नमो बलविकर्णाय नमो बलाय नमो बलप्रमथनाय नमः अभूतदमनाय नमो मनाय नमः अघोरेभ्यो खगोरेभ्यो घोरघोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः सर्वशर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात् ईशानः सर्वविद्यानां मीश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवोऽं नमो हिरण्यबाहवे हिरण्यपतये अम्बिकापतय उमापतये पशुपतये नमो नमः ऋतगुं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्ण पिङ्गळम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः सर्वो वै रुद्रस्तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु पुरुषो वै रुद्रः सन्महो नमो नमः विश्वं भूतं भुवनं चित्तं बहुधा जातं जायमानं च यत् सर्वो हेष रुद्रस्तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु कद्रुद्राय प्रचेतसे मीडुष्टमाय तव्यसे वोचे मशन्तमगं हृदे सर्वो हेष रुद्रस्तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा माता पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय 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 गणपति देवा गजानना 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 हे गणपति देवा गजानना हे गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा माता पार्वती पिता महादेवा गजानना 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 हे गणपति देवा गजानना हे गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल केशव माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव गोविंद बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल केशव माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव गोविंद बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल Om Shri Sai Ram. Loving Sai Ram to all the brothers and sisters present here. Welcome to the 22nd edition of the Vidyavahini Satsang. Before we get into the context of Satsang, I would like to invite the director of Sri Satya Sai Vidyavahini, Karuna Surav-Menshi sister, to share a pleasant surprise with all of us. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Loving pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet, and good evening and Sairam to all my dear sisters and brothers, and good morning to those who are joining from elsewhere. Some of you may know this, but I just wanted to tell this entire family that is gathered here that today, with Swami's grace, we received the hard copy signed and sealed from Gujarat of the MOU that our parent body, the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust, has signed with the government of Gujarat. What this MOU does is that it will allow us to post on Diksha, which is through the Honorable Prime Minister's digital gateway Vidya Dan, all of Gujarat state syllabi that our wonderful content team has put together. So the whole country can see that we have got Gujarat also. But this one is special. Our content will also go simultaneously on the Gujarat state's own website for GCERT, where its teachers are accustomed to going for various things. So they want it published on two. Each asset will be published both on the central government's website under the state of Gujarat and also on the Gujarat state's website. So no matter where that teacher from Gujarat searches for content for his or her chapter, they will land on Bhagwan's Prasadam. And everybody who's working on content team, now we are working smarter and we are creating content across boards. So this is a big pat on everyone's back from our beloved Bhagwan, that your hard work and sincerity is going to be very useful in building better teachers and allowing better interaction in our classrooms. And this has been made possible entirely with the grace of Bhagwan. And I want you to know that we faced a lot of obstacles in this one. If I'm not mistaken, I can check on my record, almost close to 2 years I've been following up with Gujarat. And yes, and finally, our team in Gujarat, our state coordinator, Sister Amuda Ranganathan, and our senior devotee, Brother Mayank Bhai Acharya, and our teammate from the training team in Gujarat, Nandish Vin. They worked very hard. Throughout, we had the full support of the Sri Satya Sai Seva Organization's state president for Gujarat, Brother Hemant Patel, not to mention our very own brother, Brother P. Hariharan, who is our IT lead and the coordinator for all our partnership networks. Hari went personally to Gujarat, and with Amuda's sister and Hemant Bhai and everybody's help, they went and met the officials. And I put in effort. I sat and prayed throughout when they went to meet the education secretary. That was my contribution to that meeting. I was sitting in Puttaparthi praying, and they came out of that meeting so happy and successful. And they said, the education secretary of Gujarat said this should have already been done. He took a big brush and cleared all the bottlenecks. There were some bottlenecks that were giving us trouble. The education secretary removed them in a second with a big fat brush, and things just flowed. And today this came. So if we have that picture of the MOU, Keshava, maybe you can just show it, please, and put it on the YouTube. And I also want to tell you that with this, dear sisters and brothers, not only have we got CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education syllabus, which whole of India uses on Diksha, we have, with the grace of God, also signed MOUs with Karnataka government. Now in Karnataka, they only decided to take a few classrooms worth at first. And when they saw how well it was laid out and how much of it was being used by teachers across Karnataka, they asked us for the entire repository. And we did. We are uploading all the grades. Not only that, Karnataka state government called our representatives from Bangalore, Subbu brother and several of our sisters. I think one time Prabha Acharya sister, one time Sri Jayanti sister. Like that, they all went, met with the officials of the Karnataka State's Education Department, and they asked us if we can help out in many other areas. There were too many, like vocational training. So we took up music. And with the help of Sister Chitra, who is a professional musician and a singer, and with the help of Brother Shrikant Ramachandra, we are now working on Karnataka across all grades and also doing something extra. We are doing the music syllabus for children who want to take up music. And we have also signed the same MOU with Andhra Pradesh. So very soon, teachers in Andhra Pradesh, teachers in Gujarat, teachers already in Karnataka will be using Vidya Vahini content if they follow the state syllabi. And if they follow CBSE, the whole of India already is using it from Diksha. So with Gujarat, after all the fuss, now that they want to put it on two websites, on Diksha as well as the Gujarat State's website, I think it really is a bonanza from Swami. We won the lotto and we won the extra bonanza also. And we are going to be quite omnipresent. everywhere, everyone will click a chapter, look for a resource, and they will land on the Vidyavahini page on their own state government's website as well as central government's website. So I just wanted to share this wonderful news. It's been a great day here. The MOU in this hard copy has arrived. We have offered it to Bhagwan. We are so thankful to him. And now our Ramachandra sir, who coordinates the entire IT initiative, he will be in touch with the Gujarat government, and what they have to do is on their website, they provision a project for us and they give us the passcode, and we give a list of email IDs of people who will be authorized to upload, and the process will begin. So much to thank Swami, and so much to thank my colleagues from the Gujarat state team, the Gujarat state president, and Brother P. Hariharan and Mr. Ramachandra, who have all worked very hard towards to achieving this, and of course our beloved Swami, who is the source and force of Vidyavahini. Thank you all. Sai Ram.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed a pleasant surprise. Another blessing from our beloved Bhagwan. Now, inviting our beloved Bhagwan to bless the satsang titled Vidya Dadati Vinayam, meaning education should confer humility. Swami says, humility is the hallmark of education. Now, let us first listen to the words of our supreme teacher on the topic.
ఇంకా విద్యా విషయముల గురించి మీరు అహంకార పడతారా? నిజమైనటువంటి విద్య అంటే అహంకారము లేనిదే విద్య. అహంకారం ఉంటే అది విద్యనే కాదు. విద్యే వినయ సంపన్నే అన్నారు, పండితో సమదర్శన అన్నారు. కనుక ఈ సమతత్వము వినయత్వము విద్యల వల్ల మనకు అలవడుతుంది. అంధుడగువాడు ఎవ్వడి అవని ఎందు అనగా విద్యలన్నీ కలిగి అనగా అన్నీ ఉండి కూడాను తాను కన్నులు లేనటువంటి గుడ్డివాడైపోయినటువంటి వాడట. అనగా పెద్దలను చూచినప్పుడు, ఇంకే విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క దేశకాల పాత్రను అనుసరించినప్పుడు మనము అతి వినయులై అందరికీ కొన్ని రకమైన సేవను అందించేటువంటి యొక్క స్థితి లోపల మన యొక్క వ్యక్తిత్వాన్ని మనం అర్పితం చేయడానికి పూనుకోవాలి. ఇదే నిజమైనటువంటి విద్యకు సరైనటువంటి అర్థము. చదువులలోని సారము తెలియక చదువరి నేనంచు తిరుగకురా, చదువుకొన్నందుకు సార్థకమేమన్న సద్గుణ నడకలే సారమురా అన్నాడట. అందము ప్రాయము ఇంద్రియ శక్తియు నుందని నిక్కకు రోరన్నా, ముందున్నదిరా తొందరలోని ముసలితనమ్మను ముసుళ్ల పండగ అన్నాడట.
Swami said it so nicely. The following lines caught my attention while going through Swami's talks on education and humility, dated September 9, 1958. Teachers should perform to deserve the salutations of the children entrusted to their care by the sincere work and selfless service. The student should not respect the teacher out of fear, but must be moved by their love. The teacher should avoid all methods that frighten and terrorize. Education is a slow process, like unfolding of a flower, the fragrance becoming deeper and more perceptible with the silent blossoming, petal by petal, of the entire flower. We have Rajeshwari ma'am here, who is a retired professor from the Department of Commerce, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Anandpur campus. Bhagwan says, heart should be a seat of compassion, daya, in order to justify that it is educated. Ma'am, would you like to relate any experience in this regard?
Yes, Sai Ram, Kavita, thank you. Yes, I do have a wonderful experience in this context, where Bhagwan very subtly taught me this. In fact, I am the recipient of this message. You know, this was way back. I have just started my career as a teacher. I just finished the interview in the admin block. When I came out, Professor Nanjundaya Garu, the then controller, came behind me and told me, Rajeshwari, you're going to start teaching from next week onwards in Anandpur. But remember, you are not going to teach. You're also going to learn. And remember, those children who are sitting in front of you, they are not just your students. Don't think that they do not know and you know everything. You can go and deliver lectures to them and they should receive. And when he started talking on these lines, I was a little baffled. Then he said, remember, the ones who are sitting in front of you, they are God. They are Swami. If you remember this, you will never falter. You will never commit any mistakes in your teaching. Remember, every child who is sitting in front of you in the classroom is Bhagavan. You are teaching Bhagavan. In this tone, when he talked, I was a little worried, and I really didn't understand at that point of time, but I just nodded my head. I said, yes, sir. And then I came back, I started my teaching, and days, weeks, and months rolled on. One day, it so happened when I entered the class and when I was teaching, there was one bubbly kid. She was going on jumping and answering, and without my asking, she'll get up. And she was interfering in my lectures often. And she was not allowing other children to answer also when I was asking some questions. So at one point, I lost my patience. And then I said, don't act smart. In fact, I didn't intend to hurt her, but I was annoyed at that point of time. So don't act smart. The child's face fell. He just sat down. The child sat down. And, I thought I had done my job. I thought that I put her in her place. And then the days went on again. That next week, I was called for a meeting in admin block where syllabus committee review was done. And I was a member of that committee. And the then Vice Chancellor, Hanumantappa Garu, was the chairman because he was also from the Department of Commerce. And, as we were discussing about the changes, introduction of certain chapters, deletion of certain chapters, and I was giving some suggestions, suddenly Hanumantappa Garu looked at me and said, don't act smart. I was so humiliated. I just looked at him, and Professor Radhaswamy sir was sitting next to me, and he quietly said, Rajeshwari, don't worry. He's a little short-tempered. Your suggestion is correct only. Your suggestion is good only. Keep quiet, he said. But still, I felt little sad. But immediately it struck me. Why should he say don't act smart when nothing of that sort happened? Then when I looked back, it was only to teach me a lesson. See how humiliated you feel when somebody points out at you in front of everybody. Same way, maybe the child would have felt that time. So after the meeting was over, again, Radhaswamy sir came and said, please don't bother. It's okay. I said, sir, really, I don't mind. But he was going on consoling me. But I have learned my lesson. I got the point. So with a real clear mind, I came back. So from that time onwards, to the best of my ability, I see to it that I don't allow my ego to come up when I am in front of a crowd. So with that lesson learned, when I came back for the evening darshan, when I sat, Swami came and with such a sweet smile, he looked at me, and I got namaskar also that day. And he understood that I have learned. This is where very subtly Bhagavan gives us situations or puts us across people so that we will learn. Only thing, we should be available to him, we should be open, and we should be willing to learn. And this is something which education only can do. Only those who are willing to learn can comprehend. And we can, all of us, we are growing, learning, growing, blooming, we are progressing. And these are all opportunities. And even this satsang is an opportunity for us to grow and bloom. And thank you so much, Sai Ram.
Thank you, ma'am. It certainly shows true education promotes the spontaneous empathy. Thank you again. We have Rinku sister, who is a math teacher by profession. She did MSc in mathematics, now a research scholar and associated with Balikas from young age. A teacher must use her authority to instill love and not fear in their wards. Sister, would you like to relate any incident on this context?
Sai Ram, everyone. Definitely, Kavita sister. Humility does not mean merely an external show of respect. It also means absence of egoism and pride of possession. It is a path towards internal peace and joy. I believe father, mother, and teachers are the people who are very close to children. For guiding them for such thought and even appreciating when they showcase one. They teach us such values by their young minds. One such incident comes to my mind when I was a class teacher of Standard 9. This particular section was formed because the number of students who opted for commerce outnumbered this year. The class comprised of a young, energetic, and very, very active. It was a tough time handling them. It is all about a logbook which was kept in the class to record any such inappropriate and indisciplinary issue so that parents can be made aware of once in a quarter. So the logbook was made and it was being used by all the subject teachers and class teachers. One such day, the notebook vanished and nobody had a clue where the notebook was. I had two thoughts in my mind. The first one, I had an authority to go back and check the webcam and find out who the boy was and punish the group of boys. The other one was to take the quick use of these children only and make a new logbook so that the logbook can be used again. I chose the second path, showing them a small path of humility. The second book of logbook never vanished. And after few months, a small group of boys, they came back to me, neatly covered with a sparkling page, and they offered that the same old logbook to me. It touched my heart that rather using an authoritative way and punishing them, the second path was showing a small humility and expecting a small change. So this small change brought a good deeds and joy on all our faces. The Swami also says cultivation of human values alone is education. So this was one incident. Sairam.
You're on mute. Kavita sister, you are on mute.
Thank you, Rinku sister. That was very well stated. It's an example of how teachers understand that humility is adopting democracy instead of autocracy in the classroom environment. We have Rishu's sister, who is working as a junior scientist and associate professor and project lead of the government-funded research projects. To whatever height a person soars in his life, an educated person is always very humble. Rishu's sister, would you like to speak in this aspect?
Sairam Kavita sister, it's an interesting question. The narrative you shared sounds true, but personally I have observed that opposite to this also there are many cases. Thus, I feel humility is that added jewel which makes an educated person shiny and understanding. I feel there could be plethora of achievers, but the achievers with humility is what that corroborates their education and reflects back to the society as an epitome of perfection and as a role model. Here, I would like to mention what I have experienced firsthand with one of my senior colleagues and a nuclear scientist from Baba Atomic Research Center, who is also my project collaborator. And whenever I have met him, I have often observed that he, despite being so accomplished, he's always treats others with the most junior person with the equality and the appreciation. He's always welcoming to the new ideas and makes us aware of our hidden potentials to explore the new set of possibilities in the field of research. It's because he himself is a constant learner. There are a few other aspects of humility which I have noted in him, like the kind of respect and dedication he has towards the nation, which is exemplary. He would never allow us to spend or a single penny from the government fund on something which is of not that vitality in the executing the research, which makes him highly respected and act as a torchbearer. That's how I see him. On personal front also, whenever he visits us, I have never found him to be picky. He's not neither high-headed nor he acts arrogant. In fact, he has no prejudices or request of any kind for his personal comfort. Like whether it's about food or stay, or even when we request him to address to our students, he readily agrees without acting pricey, which is such a remarkable trait and amazes me a lot. I feel education surely becomes more evident with humility, encompassing different multitudes of people, societies, and nations in creating a better world for the upcoming generations. Thank you, sister.
Thank you, Rishi sister, for sharing your wonderful experience. I now invite Jyotsna sister, who is a science teacher by profession and also a Bal Vikas Guru. Silence, sister.
Madam Sister,
Thank you for having this opportunity for me. Loving Saram to everybody. Education is not just acquiring degrees, and learning is a lifelong process. And the proper education synthesizes humility in everybody's minds and heart. Humility is an open mindset of appreciating the values of all and accurate perspectives of things, or accurate perspective of own place in the world. So I think humility accumulates more values in life. Instances from my Balbika's class, a boy was there in my Balbika's class. Once in a class, I told them that we should offer, if we don't have anything in our home, we should offer some water, plain water, to the guests, those who are coming to our home. And another thing, I told them that we should not waste the food. So one boy from my, among all my students is there, and he noted these two things in his heart and mind. Okay. One day, after completing the Balbika's function, some foods are left over, and that boy told me, Guruma, please, I don't want to waste this food. And if we distribute this food in our local bastis, and I think it will be better for them. And the food will be not wasted. And I said them, very nice. So we went with them, and they distribute their food by themselves. And one day there was Balbika's exam, and some guests came to our mandir. So that boy told me that, ma'am, so we have to offer some drinks to the guests, those who are coming to our exam. So I told them that there is nobody other than us, so how to serve and how to prepare the drink. That boy told me that, Guruma, we all the Balbika students together to prepare that drink, and we'll offer them. So from that day, I realized from this boy that it is his humility that made him to think about others, to fulfill others' needs before his own. That's the true education. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, sister, for sharing this lovely experience. Humility is a value that requires courage, self-esteem, self-respect, and respect towards others. Rajeshwari ma'am, would you like to share any of your experience in this regard?
Yes, Kavita, surely I'll do. This is again my personal experience where Swami made me understand and learn this value. So in all these cases, I'm putting me as a learner, and how I learned, I'm sharing with you. This was in one winter holidays. We all stayed back in Puttaparthi, and morning and evening, we are having some peaceful darshan. And at that point of time, I was pursuing my research. In fact, Swami showed personal interest in my research. When I intended to do research on leadership profiles, Swami called me and said, no, do on finance. And Swami himself said that I should do under Professor Ramurthy. Then that is how Ramurthy sir and we got like research guide, supervisor, and the student. So one day, Swami called us for an interview, and in the group interview, I just got a chance to sit at Swami's feet. When I just sat down, Swami looked at me, smiled, and said, first he started the interview with that only. Who is your guide? He asked. I said, Swami Ramurthy sir. Then Amma, he came a little closer. I said, Swami Ramurthy sir. I thought Swami didn't hear, so a little louder I said, Swami Ramurthy sir. again, he came much closer to me and said, Amma, like that. And he was so close that his hair was just brushing against my face. Then I thought something is wrong. It is not that Swami has not heard what I said, but I'm doing some mistake. So quickly I was just going through what I did. Then I just folded my hands and said, Swami Professor Ramurthy. So I said, Atla Cheppu Bangaru, he said, and smiled and created Vibhuti and gave me and blessed me. So, it's like a process of learning. He will give you situation, he will teach you, he will reinforce, and then he will reward if you have learned. This is something which I have understood from Bhagwan, that we should respect people. It is not age, it is not position, it is not anything of that sort. See, whatever be it, we have to have respect for the human being who is standing in front of us. And be it a small girl in the classroom or a very enlightened professor, we have to give respect. This I've seen Swami demonstrating also. In 2002 convocation time, the then President of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam, he was the chief guest. And in the convocation, when he was coming, Swami stood, he didn't sit on his chair till Abdul Kalam sir sat. And also, all of us would have seen when MS Subbulakshmi Garu, when she has to get up to address, she was very old and she couldn't, and Swami himself came and helped her to get up, and Swami himself walked along back with her to be seated. And there was so much of gentleness in the way in which he handled them. In this way, Swami demonstrated that we should respect people first, elders definitely, and we should not ignore even the small children. So the way Swami interacts with small children with complete attention, as if the entire world is only that child, that also shows very clearly how we should interact with people, interpersonal skills. This is something which I have learned. As I grew up as a teacher, I was also a learner. And again, what I want to tell is we should be only available to him. We should be open to learn. It's not only Swami with anybody. When we are open to learn, we get umpteen number of chances in this lifetime to grow, evolve into a complete person. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you. Sairam.
Thank you, ma'am. It is wonderful listening to your interactions with Swami. Anyone can be our teacher, be it young or old. In fact, learning is only when we have the ability to accept wisdom even from the young ones. So, Rinku sister, can you throw some light on this note?
Sairam, child is a father of man. Kavita sister, this reminds me of a small but impactful experience I had with a standard 5 boy. In our school, whenever teachers are absent, school gives a substitution to any teacher who is free in that particular period. Like that, I came to standard 5E one day. Children were very happy. Teacher was absent and a new teacher walking in the classroom. So it took a moment to calm them down and to understand what they were interested in. They were interested in drawing. So I gave them a small task to draw any flower and to write only one sentence about that flower. What do you learn from that flower? So all of them started drawing. Some started with lotus and some with rose. A small boy looking at me came forward and he requested for the washing. I saw ink droplets on his hand and even on the pen which he was holding. I was concerned about his white uniform. I immediately told him to drop the pen in the dustbin. But he looked reluctant. He did not move at all. Still, he requested to go to the washroom. He stated that the problem was in the refill only. The pen was fine and requested for the washroom to go again. And he quickly ran, disappeared immediately. Since it was the last period, the last bell went, and all the small children, they went down to go home. I was waiting patiently for him to return and take his belongings so that I can lock the classroom. He came back with sparkling eyes, neat and tidy hand, and a clean pen. And he told me that, teacher, I want to go to tuition from here and I can use this pen. I will buy a refill on my way. That touched my heart. he taught me a lesson of reusing a small object. Such learning experience many everyday interactions. So whenever we interact with Vidya Vahini team also, many such experiences are there. And I pray to Swami, such more beautiful experience should come. And whatever small little things which doesn't come in our mind or maybe reluctantly we are avoiding, it should bring to us and put us in a correct path towards Swami and how Swami wants. Saira.
Thank you, sister. It was very well quoted. Child is a father of a man. Thank you for sharing the beautiful experience. Rajeshwari ma'am, would you also have any experience to share where you were amazed by the humility of your senior colleague in the teaching field?
Yes, surely I have. You know, this again was in the initial part of my teaching career. I had just joined Anandpur, and there was a change in the syllabus, and I was communicated that I have to teach one chapter called Solicitors Accounting, and the weightage for that will be 10%. So I thought, though I have not done this in my UG or PG, I thought I can learn from some books. So I went to library and I started looking into some standard books like R.L. Gupta, Shukla, Batley Boy, all that. But no, the specific chapter I couldn't locate. So I started looking into other authors. No. Then some unknown authors I was searching, but the topic was not there in any of this. I was little baffled. What will I do? How will I teach something without knowing the content? So I was just pulling some books, opening, seeing, and then putting it back in the place. As I was doing like this, from the other side of the rack, it just got hit and some books fell on that side and with a third noise. And the librarian, who is it? She asked. I said, ma'am, I'll just put it back. So I went the other way, picked up the books from the floor, which when I picked up, like this, when I picked up, the books opened in the place and Solicitors Accounting. It was not in one book. 5 books had fallen down. All the 5 books had Solicitors Accounting. I was amazed. No, don't you think it is Bhagwan's play only? I'm sure it is Bhagwan's play only. So I was so happy at that moment. I took notes, I read, I understood. I taught in the class, I did a good job. And then I had to set paper. So I framed my own question and then it was sent. And in the examination board, in the paper, question paper examination board, Professor Radhaswamy was the chairman and I was also a member. And when Professor Radhaswamy was going through, he was amazed. He said, Rajeshwari, how did you set such a good question in Solicitors Accounting? Where you got all the content? And he was appreciating me so much. I was really stunned. See, Radhaswamy sir was such a great professor and he has written, he's such a authority in accounting. And with such humility, he wanted to learn that particular problem from me. And he said, you just give me your notes. And, I was just thinking, how great a person should be if he's willing to learn from just a beginner. And, this is not one incident. After that, on so many occasions, on so many interactions with Professor Radhaswamy, I had found this trait in him, always willing to learn. As Professor Rinku said just now, willingness to learn, either it is small, from the small child also she was learning, like that there are umpteen situations which we may come across in our lives. If you are willing to learn, we can learn from anybody, anything. It may be an insect, it may be a worm or something. If time permits, I'll just tell one thing. During this Corona time, this lesson was taught to me by a plant. In front of my house, I have a pot. There was a lily flower, pink lily plant was there, and it was dying. One by one, leaves were falling. Only one leaf was stuck to it. Like the last leaf, one essay used to be there, no? The last leaf. I was just waiting when this leaf falls, what will happen? But fortunately, one butterfly came and laid the egg on that, and that leaf it started eating on that leaf. Slowly, the transformation of butterfly, caterpillar was from cocoon, and then caterpillar, and then butterfly, and the butterfly flew out. By the time that one leaf in that plant, which provided food for that butterfly, 2-3 small leaves came, and then a bunch of leaves. Now also that plant is there in front of my house, full of bloom. And when I reflect on this, I have understood, give to live. If you give, you will live. This is the lesson I have learned, So even a plant, even an insect, even a butterfly can teach us. Only thing we should have that vinayam, that humility to learn from any object around us. And this opportunity also, I feel this, whenever conferences come in Vidyavahini, is a great opportunity for all of us, whether it is online or offline, whether we meet face to face or online. We come across such great people. We can learn so many things from so many people. And this is a great opportunity for us to be connected. And thank you so much for this opportunity. And, I thank Swami for allowing me to come across such great personalities like Professor Ramurthy and Professor Radha Swami sir during my career. And still, I am coming across many people in my life. And thank you for the presence of all those people in my life, Swami. And thank you for this opportunity to all of you. Sai Ram.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Swami, for all connecting us all to Vidyavahini. It was so wonderful listening to all the insightful experience on humility by all our sisters. Humility, more often than not, is misinterpreted and misunderstood to be a synonym of weakness and servility. But humility is itself power. In Chinese philosophy, water is attributed to the quality of humility. In fact, Lao Tzu writes, how did the great rivers and the seas get their kingship over the hundreds of tiny streams? Through the merit of being lower than they are. That was how they get their kingship. Let us pray Bhagwan that no matter however high life may take us by the ways of power, wealth, and education, let us remain humble, for humility is the foundation of all virtues. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Satya Sai Hare Bhakta Jana Samrakshak Bhakta Jana Samrakshak Pati Maheshwara Om Jai Jagadish Hare Shashivadana Shrikara Sarva Pranapati Swami Sarva Pranapati Ashrita Kalpalatika Ashrita Kalpalatika Avatandhava Om Jai Jagadish Hare Mata Pita Guru Daivamu Mariyantayu Nive Swami Mariyantayu Nive Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nagena Shayana Om Jai Jagadish Hare Omkara Rupa Ojasvi Sai Mahadeva Satya Sai Mahadeva Mangala Arati Anduko Mangala Arati Anduko Mandara Giridhari Om Jai Jagadish Hare Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की